Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for finding the time to visit today's seminar. We are so excited to have you here. My name is Christine Haas, and I'm here along with the team at Ask the Lawyers. Our company is the leading platform for video marketing for lawyers. Now, who would guess that we're actually straight up on time? I'm a former news anchor, as is one of the other folks you're going to hear from in a little while. And we start on time, but I know sometimes it takes a little extra time to get everybody situated and get the technology set and make sure you can hear us. So I don't want to jump into the webinar just yet. Want to give some time to make sure everybody can hear us and see us and be fully prepared with a notepad or whatever you might need to make sure you have your questions ready for the end of this webinar for us. So if anybody could just go in the chat box, type if you can hear me, if you can see me, it will help us so we know that we're all ready to get going. So we're going to check that chat box. Everybody hearing and seeing us okay? Isn't it crazy how everything has turned into Zoom meetings all throughout the country, every industry, everything? Zoom has become the new normal. So now we're just making sure the technology follows. So it looks like we have everybody able to hear us and see us. We're just going to give another 30 seconds to make sure we get people logged on. Hopefully you're able to have your lunch at your desk if that's at home, or if you're sitting at the office, lucky you if you're able to get away and do that. What a crazy time to be able to say we're excited to be able to go to the office these days. It's a luxury to get out of the craziness at home. So glad you're here with us. Looks like we're set to get going, as you saw in the invite today. And again, so glad that you're here. Our topic is digital marketing during the new normal of COVID-19, and our team is here to help you. We have Tom Metier, who is a trial attorney, Cheney Winslow, she is a legal marketing expert, Kim Bush, who is also an attorney, and Rob Rosenthal, he's the Chief Marketing Officer for Ask the Lawyers. So glad that everybody's here. Before we get going, I want to let you know if you have any questions throughout the webinar, write them down, write them in your notes, whatever you have. Also, put them in the chat box. We're going to stop throughout the webinar and answer some of these, or at least take those questions in so we can make sure we address your needs as we go forward. But in addition to that, at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. So make sure that you have all that ready for us. We're ready to answer your questions. And we'll send you all the relevant links to this event as well. So if you hear something and you think, gosh, I really wish I would have written that down, we're going to have a replay for you. It won't last forever, but we will have a replay that will go out in your email so you can take advantage of that. Go back to those areas that you might want to focus on, and maybe send us an email later on. No problem, no pressure. We're here for you. Today, we are really digging in on the main methods to advance your brand and stand out for the competition. There is no better time to do that. We will hear exactly what some of the top lawyers in the country are experiencing throughout this new normal, and how they're not just surviving, but they're thriving. We're going to also show you how one of our topics from one of our attorneys that's pre-COVID actually received close to 1 million views through YouTube and Facebook combined. 1 million views, one video, one topic. So we're going to talk about how that came to fruition. And just to give you a hint, it does not take years of anything. It happened quickly because of the access through Ask the Lawyers. And we're going to go through that for you. So without further ado, let's begin with Tom Metier. He is the senior partner of the Metier Law Firm, a board-certified trial attorney, president of the Academy of Truck Accident Attorneys, and senior faculty member of the Trial Lawyers College. Tom, so glad to have you here. You are also the co-founder of Ask the Lawyers. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Christine, it's great to be with you all today, and I'm just happy to get this chance to share what we can do in this COVID environment.
That's right. And so many people are wondering, okay, I'm in Macon, Georgia, or I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so they almost feel like they're in a smaller, community. Nationwide, and you've got your pulse on that, what are you hearing happening in the legal industry? Set the table for us about what's changed and how people are coping.
Well, one of the things that we're all facing is, how do we get face time with potential clients? I'm hearing from lawyers all over the country that they're They're working from home. Their staffs are working from home. They don't know where their marketing dollars should be spent. And this is a great time for us to be looking at how do we create relationships and reputation personally so that our clients will reach out to us and new clients will know about us. And that's the big fear right now, is how do we make ourselves known in this environment where people are not on the streets and in their offices.
And something that we've talked about prior to this webinar that I just found so fascinating is just the different dynamics that lawyers are needing for networking. So usually you'd be able to go to a conference, you'd be able to get referrals from other people because you got to meet people and consistently did that. Because of COVID, all of that is handicapped. We're not able to go out and shake hands with people. We're not able to go to networking events. So talk a little bit about ways that you've seen people and yourself maybe have been able to extend that hand and continue to get that referral without having to be there in person.
Sure. Well, obviously using video from where I am today in my basement here in my home. I have 37 employees in various houses around the community and the states that we have offices in. We're communicating regularly. And, you know, our employees market for us too by the people they meet. But now we're not able to go to church. We're not doing the seminars that I regularly speak at and meeting all those folks. So I'm reaching out using Ask the Lawyers, using the networking that I have put together over the years. But, you know, when I get introduced at a speaking engagement, I get introduced as an expert. And that's very important. We know people love to know who someone is, what their authority is, what reviews they've gotten. And now we're stuck in our basements, figuratively and literally. So being able to get out on social media and develop a reputation and be an authority is an incredibly important and useful tool.
So much has changed, as you've mentioned, and some of the predictions for the legal industry show that it's going to be some time, if not more than a year, before things start coming back. So Supreme Court even talking about continuing Zoom hearings and that type of thing. So tell me your thoughts and your predictions on how things will change in the next couple quarters and what we're going to see maybe even into next year.
Well, we know that we have 40 million people out of work, that traffic is down, although it's coming back. We have people who are spending their time on their computers more than ever before, reaching out to the community around them. And so we want to be front and center and be one that they know are there to help them, regardless of the area of law. And whatever it is. I mean, I think that we're in an environment in the long term where consumer confidence of being out and about is reduced, yet legal needs continue. And so we need to make sure that we're each getting our share and increasing our share of the market. And that's where being in front of consumers is so important, as is the ability to be in front of other attorneys as well. We can't all do Zoom seminars day after day after day, which there's been a lot of, among attorneys, and expect that that's going to result in the kind of business that we each are going to need. We need those attorney referrals, but we need to be talking to the consumers directly.
I think a lot of people see a webinar invite, and I'm so glad that they're here in the audience. This isn't necessarily a sales pitch. We want to put that out there. And we are going to talk about video, the power of video, but we really do want to talk about the pulse of what's happening in the legal industry. And so, Tom, me being the former journalist, I've got to keep asking a couple questions. So there's a real concern about what's going to happen long term, about people feeling scared about even filing a lawsuit now, because number one, the financial aspect of it. Number two, the delays that will take place. So for example, you know, what about a jury trial? How long will it be before we actually have a jury trial? Are they going to do them from Zoom? From the consumer standpoint, when they're thinking about filing a lawsuit, they're thinking, can I afford the attorney? Can I go forward with whatever, you know, issue I have? And of course that takes a consultation with an attorney. But number three, do I have the time to invest in this? Because now something that might have taken a year may take 2 or more, God only knows. So talk about how to hit those pain points for customers, future clients out there who are potentially scared of even entering the legal industry.
Well, I think that that's where we need to get our messaging out. We need to be answering those questions, and video is a great way to do it. And being on social media and answering those questions for folks, because everybody wants to know. You know, attorneys are afraid, and because what's happening to all of us, our access to trials is being delayed by the courts, discovery is being delayed, and we're not sure when our cash flow dates are going to happen. Well, if you're a consumer, as you're pointing out, Christine, you have those same worries. And yet, we need the public to know we're open for business, even if we're not going to meet face-to-face. We need the public to know that there are going to be Zoom trials. Texas has just started a Zoom trial, and there are others around the country that are getting started. And so knowing that these things can progress and being able to answer those questions for consumers is really important. It also makes you a leader in your community, that you're the one that's providing the answers. So telling them that they can pursue their legal claims, they can get their matters taken care of with an attorney's help, and that it can happen remotely are very important bits of information that we need to convey.
Yeah, and in this day and age, when everybody's on their mobile device, and we're going to have somebody, Rob, talk about that and the statistics here in a little bit, but something that I want to hit on, having a billboard is totally different than actually being in front of them consistently on their mobile device through video, through advertising, and through consistent branding. Can you speak to that about the power or the necessity, I think is the word, for an attorney to actually have that type of, even if it's video, a sense of communication, a sense of human interaction, even if it's automated through video?
Absolutely. I mean, let's talk about, we were all young lawyers once when we were trying to get started in the world, and we needed to build a practice, and we needed to build skills and experience. But we also needed to build a community that looked to us as their attorney. So, you know, top of mind things like having a billboard that somebody goes by every day and they get to hear that person's name or see them on television to a mass audience. But we each in our own communities, whether that's a national community or a local community or just a small town, if we're on social media and we're doing it by video, we're able to build our reputation and with the consistent messaging, showing what our expertise is, showing that we have standing in the community and that we're caring and able to help them. And they need to see us just with an interactive ability. Now that interactive ability may be to watch a video and then know that they can contact us, or building on specific topics that we're expertise heavy in, so that when they think of somebody in a personal injury accident or a divorce or a real estate deal, they think, I have been seeing that attorney and others have been saying that attorney is really good. So I want to reach out to them. It's being top of mind. So we have to think about how we're going to build, maintain a presence, and create relationships.
Great points. Anything that I missed that you'd like to point out, Tom?
Oh, just that I just feel for everybody. You know, it's a scary time for us. And so we have to get back to basics. Now, with new technology, which we have now, internet, video, the statistics you're going to hear about, we need to be able to reach out and maintain our practices. I mean, I'm personally, and I'm sure you are too, very, very busy, folks. And so I have to have a way that I can schedule the marketing that's going to be done, the communication that asks the lawyers or whatever system we're going to use to stay front and center and still meet all our deadlines and do everything that we've got to do. So personally, I've helped invent Ask the Lawyers for my own needs to be able to have those things happen for me. So I'd encourage you to think about that and make it part of your daily plan as a lawyer as to how I'm going to get ahead and protect my family and meet new clients.
Yeah, and I think it should not be lost, Tom, that because of COVID, it's unfortunate what's happened, but there will be plenty of new legal opportunities that are going to pop up due to the situations that we've been dealing with for a long period of time. So it certainly may be a little lull, but it could be a potential blow up of cases very soon for all types of lawyers. So thank you for your insight, Tom Metier, the co-founder of Ask the Lawyers and practicing trial attorney in Colorado. Thank you for your insight. Now I want to bring in Rob Rosenthal. Rob has been an award-winning professional broadcaster, a journalist, a marketer for more than 40 years. We don't want to talk about his age here, but we definitely want to talk about his credentials. Rob, you've heard the concerns that Tom has laid out. What are some of your recommendations for lawyers who are really thinking, how do I make my money go further?
Well, that's a really good question, Christina. That's what everybody's thinking. How do I, you know, I hear from Tom, law firms are concerned. He mentioned they are worried about when's cash flow going to pick back up again. And so they're looking at budgets and they're thinking, all right, where do we tighten our belt? Where do we cut? And marketing is one of those areas that unfortunately is an easy cut in the budget. Okay, we'll just cut the marketing out when everything gets back to normal. We'll ramp it back up. And I hope that one of the takeaways you get from today's webinar is that is not necessarily the best idea. So if you follow some of the things that we're going to share with you today, you could come out of this new normal as good as or even better than you went in. And I've had some people when we've called it the new normal before that it's, they push back. Oh, they don't like that. Oh, we don't want to think of this as normal. Whatever you want to call it. It's been here for a while. It's going to be here for a little while longer. Nobody knows really how much longer. Yes, some places are starting to open back up, which is great. But the presentation I want to make today is to show you what to do. We'll talk a little bit about digital marketing in general, and then specifically as it pertains to the new normal. I want to share just a few quick slides with you. So we're talking about marketing in the new normal, and the fact that you can't let fear cause you to miss out. And that's what's happening. So let's start specifically talking about the marketing funnel. If you haven't heard of the marketing funnel, if you have somebody who handles your digital marketing for you, ask them about the funnel. If they don't know what it is, maybe find somebody else to do your marketing. But the marketing funnel in general, on one side you have traditional marketing, and as the funnel narrows down, the type of marketing gets more expensive, and for one thing, and the other thing is you're able to more target one specific person. So at the top of the marketing funnel on the traditional side, TV, radio, billboard, broadcasting that just sends out a wide message to a wide number of people. On the digital side, that's where social media comes in frequency advertising, and quite honestly, askthelawyers.com. Now, as you go down the funnel, you can more carefully target who you're trying to reach. In the middle of the funnel, direct mail events, you can send your direct mail to a specific zip code or something like that. Social media is also in the digital side of the mid funnel. That's where you're able to really target people. You can very specifically target who you're trying to send it to. And then at the bottom of the funnel, that's things like pay-per-click, paid search on Google and that sort of thing. Very expensive, but that's more of a one-to-one thing. When someone sees your name there and they click on it, you get a call. You're paying for that person to call you. What we're talking about today is more in the higher funnel. It's much more reasonably priced. It's more broad, and specifically social media. You notice social media actually is all the way down the funnel. We don't have it in the low funnel part, but you can very precisely target in the low funnel. So that's the marketing funnel in general. And what I'm here to tell you today is you cannot just put all your money in the low funnel. You can't put all your money. I've spent all my budget on marketing in pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is important. It's also very expensive, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, is more reasonable, and that's in the high funnel thing. You can't just do the low funnel, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Right now, during COVID, during quarantining, social distancing, one of the facts is the number of active online users is gigantic. It's never been higher. People are at home. People are on their phones, on their mobile devices, on their computers. and we don't know how much longer this is going to last. What happens is people, I don't know if you've seen it at your house, when I'm watching a movie with the family, everybody's also at the same time on their phone, they're on their mobile device while they're watching the movie. So the active number of active online users has never been higher. So this means it's time for you and your firm to take advantage of this. Your goal when you do any kind of marketing is get the most people to see it. And right now at the high end of that funnel, most people are going to see it. There's tons of eyeballs out there right now for the taking. This is an unprecedented time. Digital marketing is always a good idea, but right now, especially because there's so many people that are going to see it. These are actual numbers. This is actually from, we're now at the end of May. This is actually from April. Social network usage, record levels. Facebook is up 70% year over year. That's huge because Facebook was already gigantic. So Facebook usage is up over 70%. YouTube is up 15%. And I feel certain those numbers are continuing to climb. So why should you market on social media? Makes your budget go farther. You can precisely target the consumer you want to reach. And like I say, much more cost effective than PPC. You've chosen a profession, the legal profession that, for better or worse, is one of, I think it's in the top 2 of most expensive PPC terms. So when you try to pay for the terms lawyer, legal, truck attorney, whatever it is, it's very expensive. With social media, it's much more reasonable. All right, so as we go through today, there are 3 things I hope you'll take away when we're done. And the first is that you need to be marketing digitally through social media. The second thing I want you to take away is you need videos. We've talked a little bit about that already. Tom talked about the relationship that you're able to make with people that you can't make. You're not out seeing people every day now. So video is more important than ever. And video advertising is skyrocketing. It's booming. And people online expect to see videos. In fact, they enjoy to see videos. We've done lots of research. We did lots of focus groups when we set up Ask the Lawyers, and people told us they much rather see a lawyer on video before they ever call them, before they ever decide whether that's who they want to do business with. So video is super important. They want to get to know you. They want to get to like you and trust you before they ever call you. That doesn't happen with a billboard. Video marketing, video digital marketing offers something that no other type of marketing can when you use videos, and you get to establish that relationship with your potential clients. So digital marketing, this is the ideal time to get in front of people, build those relationships. Customers want to be able to feel like they know you before they ever call you. They're afraid to call you. Another thing we learned in a lot of our focus groups is potential clients, consumers are afraid to call attorneys. They're even afraid to go to attorney websites. They want to get to know that attorney before they do that. Video helps you do that. They're watching more videos than ever, and they want to see you in videos. Social media, we mentioned the record amount of time that is spent on social media. So you need to be doing that. And then all that together helps you to convert. So digital marketing, build those relationships with video, market yourself on social media, get that brand awareness out there, what we call brand awareness or brand equity. You're fighting for space in the consumer's mind, and this is a chance to do that. You do all these things, when they do get to that lower end of the funnel and they see 2 or 3 names, 2 or 3 ads on Google, and they're trying to decide which one to pick, if they go, wait a minute, I heard that guy, I've seen videos with him in my Facebook newsfeed. He seems like a nice guy. She seems to know what she's talking about. That's what helps make that click happen. So you get that brand equity, that space in the consumer's mind, and translates to conversions.
But Rob, I also want to just take a moment to point out that you have a green screen behind you because you're in the Ask the Lawyers studios.
I'm in one of the Ask the Lawyer studios. I figured, why not? This is where we do our interviews from, and I figured, well, why not take advantage of amazing lighting while I'm here? So yes, that's what
But it's a fabulous studio. For most people who don't realize, we take for granted the ability to have a great lighting setup, and people think it's just magic where you can just pop up a light and everything looks great. But it really does take, what do they say? It takes a village, right?
with good lighting.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Rob, thank you. Great statistics, great advice. We appreciate your time as always. Now I'd like to bring in Cheney Winslow. Cheney has been an innovator in the field of digital marketing for attorneys for more than 20 years. And again, we're not dating anybody here, but let's just say that she has the credentials and the experience that a lot of us wonder, how we can actually capitalize on. And Cheney, we've heard it from Rob and Tom about the future of legal marketing, the concerns that are out there. But I'd love to talk with you about the importance of video that has a purpose, because so many people think, oh, I did 10 videos and I put it out there and why didn't it translate? But there's a reason why some videos translate and others don't. Can you talk about why it's really advantageous to think about being past the laptop camera and just throwing up a light?
Yes, we've all established the fact that you need video. Let me touch first on what do you want to accomplish with those videos. Tom touched on it. One of the first things, I'll share a few slides with you. I was a movie producer before I started marketing attorneys 20-something years ago. So video is my expertise. I understand the presentation and how important that is. So these videos, it's not just that you need videos, you need good videos, you need good quality videos. So I'm going to share just a couple of screens with you about what you want to accomplish with the videos that you need to create. You want to create a relationship. You don't have somebody in front of you sitting in your office. You're not at a convention where you're actually meeting people. You have to be able to get someone to know who you are, to like you, to know that you're caring, all via a camera remotely. So the first thing that you want these videos to do is help you create a relationship. So people, they trust you. They already know who you are before they're going to call you. The second thing you want a video to do is to show your expertise. We do a few things at Ask the Lawyers that help you do both of these. One is we always do a bio video of our attorneys because we want them. You can see a CV online, you can see their credentials, you can see where they went to college. But I personally like to know who the person is. I want to know if they're caring, if they really want to help me. I want to know really who I am hiring to help me in the situation that I am in. Another thing that helps show your expertise that we do at Ask the Lawyers is we have our attorneys talk about cases that they've handled in the past. This not only it comes across with such passion, but it shows your knowledge and your ability, but it also helps the person watching the video know that you understand the situation that they're going through. So they're more apt to want to hire you because of the stories that you're telling them. So you want to create a relationship, and you also want to show your expertise. The other thing that we do, or that's important, is to show you're an authority. Testimonials are very viable. They always have been. Reviews are very viable. We do this at Ask the Lawyers by having a broadcaster cite you as the authority. So it's a third person either interviewing you, asking you questions that people are looking at their cell phones 150 times a day, asking questions that they want an answer to. A broadcaster asking our members a question and then giving answers. We don't do sales pieces, and I'm not big on sales pieces in general. I think if you help people, they're going to want to hire you. If you give people enough information, they're also going to realize they can't do what you do and they need to hire you. So the video is just one step closer to telling them who you are, that you have the expertise, as well as someone else giving you that third-party endorsement, whether it be a past client or somebody like Ask the Lawyers that has a professional broadcaster. A good takeaway from what I'm telling you is aside from the fact that you need videos and you have an amazing amount of eyes looking at videos all day long, but the quality really does matter. We're going to talk about this at a webinar in the future, but if your sound is bad, and granted, working from home and everybody's trying to throw a camera up quickly, but if the quality is bad, in my opinion, you're better off not having video at all. It's like going into court with the judge not being able to hear what you say if you have bad audio. If you're not lit well, if you're not dressed professionally, there's a lot that goes into how you present yourself. So you need video. So spend a little extra time, whether it's Ask the Lawyers or any other kind of video platform, to make sure that what the product that you're putting out, and you need to put it out on a regular basis, just like we used to push out blogs, push out videos on a regular basis to keep what Rob was talking about, which is that top of mind awareness, so that when they are ready to hire someone, they've seen you regularly in their, of the 150 times a day they're going to their cell phones, 100 of them are Facebook. So they may not be ready to hire you today, but when they are ready, they're going to remember who you are. They're going to remember that you gave them information that they needed. So it's really important to be proactive. As the lawyers, we help do it for you so that you don't have to know today you have to shoot another video. We're going to push it out on a regular basis because we know the importance of it. We know the importance of that top of the funnel that Rob was talking about, the top of mind awareness. And people are, more people than ever looking and looking for answers that you can give because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's really the perception, the perceived credibility, the perceived branding that people will draw on as well, as you mentioned. And, it cannot be said enough, Cheney. You bring up such great points about the importance of specific and targeted video. It really can be said like the difference between a Honda and a Porsche. There's nothing like targeted and very well structured and messaged video. Can you tell me why being part of Ask the Lawyers branding and the distribution is so important and almost easier because it's kind of like we do it for you kind of stuff?
Ask the Lawyers, it's a small membership. It's not like everybody can just join. You have to meet certain eligibility requirements. So we have some of the best attorneys in the country. So I sleep better at night knowing that when someone needs an attorney, they got the best one they could get. And that was more important to me than having a huge amount of people listed or a huge amount of attorneys be on our site or be partnered with us. But the more targeted the questions we ask, the more focused the topic is, the better the response, especially on social media, like Facebook. People are asking, again, I'm picking up my smartphone, they're asking a specific question and they want a specific answer. They're looking for an answer. They don't want you to tell them you're the best. They don't want you to tell them to hire you. It's not about that. It's about people wanting answers and you giving it to them. So the more specific, the better, because you're looking for that one conversion. You're looking for that one person that should hire you. You're not looking for the wide net that a commercial spreads. You're going after, that's why the way you can market using social media, and we use predominantly YouTube and Facebook, it's so specific as to who we can target because there's so much data out there as to who we push the videos to see, because we know what their search patterns are. We know a lot. There's a lot that goes into who sees the videos that we push out.
That's what I always love when we talk about kind of the recipe for success. If you know all the ingredients, you can reach the right temperature or the right, outcome for a dinner, where most people don't even know the ingredients. So that's what I always like to package up. So before you leave, Cheney, I do want to ask one more question, but I want to remind people, I'm seeing questions coming into the chat box. Please put those in there. Let us know what you would like us to answer. We also want to let the one particular firm that emailed us and asked us a question, we are going to answer that question, so hang with us. As I was looking at that chat box, Cheney, I hope I didn't miss this. I wanted to refresh, we mentioned the number of views that you were able, or Ask the Lawyers was able to accomplish for one particular video. It was almost 1 million in combination with YouTube and Facebook. Can you talk about the opportunities? Because I think there are a lot of people out there who think, well, I'm just starting this. I'll never get that kind of success. But that's really not true. If you have the right targeted message, the opportunity is out there. Can you talk about some of the I shouldn't say overnight success, but the short-term success that Ask the Lawyers has been able to help people achieve?
The cool thing about using digital marketing in this day and age is you want to, the cost is less than it's ever been. The cost to push ads out or these videos out on Facebook is much less than a Google PPC ad or a commercial, even though the costs have come down greatly for everything. But it's also so neat that you can target. So in this, what Christina's referring to was it was one particular type of case. This happened to have been a mass tort, but because of who we can target geographically, we can target specific demographics, specific groups. This one, because it was a mass tort, they wanted to go national. So the firm itself was in Florida, but they wanted to get cases all over the country, so we could take the videos that we produced on a specific topic and target the entire United States. So because we did it, and it took I think over a period of 3 months, we did a few different videos on the same topic. But we also put some extra money behind it because Facebook that's how they monetize, and that's how they want you to pay them to be able to get top of mind awareness. So, and the cost to do that is way less than you could imagine, or it was 3 months ago. So because we did this over 3 months and really pushed it to specific audiences, they got almost 1 million views on this specific topic. But that one happened to go nationwide. But you can go just in your metro area, you can go throughout your state. It depends on where you take cases.
Yeah. It's so interesting. And, one thing that I want to leave people, and again, whether you use Ask the Lawyers or you use another service, that's up to you. And this is certainly, we hope that Ask the Lawyers comes through as a strong, credible program that you can utilize. But the importance here is for you to understand what's out there, the opportunities that are out there. And I recently was at a convention, Cheney, and pre-COVID, where somebody was talking about how they went in as a CEO of a digital marketing company and they went to the dentist, and the dentist was like, "Oh my gosh, I know you. I've been taking your courses." And the CEO of this particular company looked at the dentist and said, "Why are you taking digital marketing courses?" And the dentist was like, "Well, I need to blow up my brand and I need to do all this." And the takeaway that he had for this huge audience was the fact that he didn't want his dentist researching digital marketing. He wanted his dentist researching the best in dentistry, to improve health. And so I think it's important to leave that to the experts. We all know what we're weak at. We all know what we're strong at, and to really utilize those skills from people who have those sources. And Cheney, you've been, like you said, in the movie industry before, and you've seen this translate for attorneys and how video really works. Can you just leave us with a few notes about why you think Ask the Lawyers could really, or any video platform for that matter, right now, why is it the time?
So many people are watching video all day long. But when you're doing video, don't expect it to convert to a client immediately. This is really more about top of mind awareness and showing you're active, in this case, proactive. Ask the Lawyers does a lot for you. If you can sit down for a long form interview, great. If not, we're going to push out a quick question where the broadcaster asks the attorney a question. So it's a shorter piece, really good for social media to show up in people's feeds, for Facebook. Or if the attorney isn't available at all, we do something called a legal brief, where the broadcaster actually tells a story. It's either a news story or firm news, and then cites the attorney as the authority. So when I was telling about what you want to accomplish with the videos, setting yourself up as an authority yourself is hard. That's why reviews and testimonials are always very viable. In this case, it's a broadcaster as a third party saying you know what you're doing, and that gives you a lot more credibility and a lot more clout.
Absolutely. Cheney Winslow, the co-founder of Ask the Lawyers. Great advice. Stick around. We have a lot of questions coming in, and I know I'm going to have you up to answer them here in just a moment, so don't go away. First question that we got in from a law firm prior to this webinar, we want to address that first. It was an employment law firm. Wants to know why they're seeing a lot of impressions coming from Facebook and Google that are very low in conversions, and should we be using another site? Rob Rosenthal, the Chief Marketing Officer for Ask the Lawyers, as you heard, he's here to answer that question because it's a very common one, Rob.
I think, yes, it is. And I think, first of all, you're on the right track. Using Facebook is a good thing. And as we've covered all that, I don't want to rehash that, but that's a good thing right now. It's a good thing anytime, but especially right now. A couple of things, because I don't know all the details, but I would question whether what you're doing looks like an advertisement. If it's showing up in people's Facebook feeds and it looks like an advertisement, just looks like another ad, that's not ideal. That I would try to come up with something different that doesn't look like an advertisement. Like Cheney talked about, if you can have someone else citing you as an authority, if there's another way to get you in front of people where it doesn't look like you saying, hire me, that would be helpful. And also, I just think, I know it's difficult right now because we get people seeing it, but we're not getting we're not getting the conversions, but this is part of that top of mind awareness and brand equity, keeping your brand out there. Yes, right now, that's a labor and employment firm. Maybe they're not getting the phones ringing right now, but when somebody does need somebody and they go, I've seen them in my Facebook feed, that's going to pay off. And I know it's hard, but if you're doing that and you're staying there, you're fighting for that space in the consumer's mind. If you're there and the person across the street is not, that's going to benefit you. And so, and I don't know if I said it, but I would also say videos. Videos, so you make it don't make it look like a commercial. Do a video. I think 80% of Facebook posts right now involve some video, so you got to have video in order to catch people's attention and also get that top of mind awareness. So you're on the right track, but I think if you incorporate some of the other things we talked about today, it will work out better.
Yeah, and Rob, I think a lot of people can understand this. So if you make a post on Facebook right now, and in some cases you go, that's weird. It only got, 10 likes when I normally get 50. What's happening with Facebook, and algorithms change all the time, as you know, Rob, and you preach this day in and day out. These algorithms change, and right now video is what's basically, kind of nurturing Facebook. So Facebook sees that video and really blows it up more so than some other posts. So I really wanted to point that out. Also, one other question that I wanted to point out, Rob, is, talking about the nature of people buying into marketing firms. So we've heard it at Ask the Lawyers all the time. If you could just answer this question about, I hired a marketing firm, I gave them 60, 90 days, I didn't get anything, or I saw like 10% increase and it didn't make my, business go up any better. Why should I ever try it again? Can you talk a little bit about, pain points are real for lawyers. They're trying to figure out, how do I make my money go further? What kind of questions should lawyers be asking marketing firms when they're trying to test them out?
I think one thing, and that's why I use that graphic, is to keep in mind that funnel. If you're doing things at the top of the funnel, the high part of the funnel, which is the more reasonably priced, you can't be expecting, I didn't get a return on my investment. I spent this much money and I didn't get the same number. The top of the funnel, like I've been saying, is about that brand equity. That's getting your brand out there, building a brand, keeping your brand in front of the consumer, so that when it gets down to that lower part of the funnel, which is more expensive, they're more likely to choose you when they get to that choice, when they're on Google and they've searched for attorney near me or whatever it is the search is. So I wouldn't focus on what's my return on investment, but I would make sure they understand the funnel, ask them about the marketing funnel, and ask them how you need to diversify the money you spend. If you put all your money in that lower part of the funnel, it's going to cost you a lot of money. You might see some conversions, but you're going to spend a lot of money to get them. Or the upper part of the funnel, it's not a one-to-one. For every dollar I spend, I'm going to get a consumer calling me, but it pays off in the long run.
As long as it does in the long run, that branding perception. Rob, thank you. Another question here comes from Ronan. How do you handle disclaimers regarding that the viewer cannot rely on your audience without actually engaging the attorney in an attorney-client relationship? Because every person's case is unique and may have different variables to eliminate potential malpractice claims if somebody relies on your information but has some exceptions to what you said. Cheney, I want to bring that question in for you. How would you talk about handling these disclaimers regarding the viewer cannot rely on advice?
We put them on Facebook and YouTube, and the disclaimer varies from state to state. And I've been marketing attorneys 20-something years. So we're aware of it too, or our members will help us as well if something changes. But we put a disclaimer, attorney-client relationship, or things such as that, or if where they're licensed, or if we have to put the attorney's address, things such as that. We make sure that it's on the video whenever it's going to appear on Facebook or YouTube.
Great information. Thank you, Cheney. And I want to bring in Tom for this last question. We have so many questions that have come in, but we're running out of time. But this is an important one. I really like it because it really addresses a big concern. Tom, a lot of, I apologize, the anonymous attendee. I was looking for a name, but it's anonymous. So anonymous has asked, a lot of this seems aimed at individual legal consumers. How does this translate to targeting businesses?
businesses are people. And you can bet, just in my house, my wife spends time on social media. She sees what Ask the Lawyers are doing. She sees what's going on in there, and it's conversation about who in the community has the expertise to provide the information we want. I think one thing that's really important is that when you're doing a video, you ought to select who your target is, and that can be oriented towards a business or towards individuals, and talk specifically, as Cheney was saying, about that particular problem. So if you are looking for real estate transactions, talk about real estate challenges or developer challenges. If you're marketing for divorce work, talk about the asset identification and dispute issues and how they're overcome. Describe a case that you've done. I know that we also have had a related question on business as to, well, what should we do with video on LinkedIn? Well, the answer is the same, in that if you're going to use video with a LinkedIn, that it should be very specific about what expertise and what experience you have. And I would highly recommend that you not say, so hire me. Rather, be the provider of the information. Now, if you're wearing the hat of a business owner or of a worker for some company, you are aware of what your company's needs are, and understanding and getting the information and reputation for the attorney and building this brand. Don't forget, lawyers also are on social media all the time as consumers, consuming their Facebook, consuming YouTube, consuming LinkedIn. And so they too are seeing what your specific area of expertise is. I mean, how often are each of us contacted by another lawyer saying, could you find me an estate planning lawyer that you know is good? Or could you find me a business lawyer that does business formations that's good? Well, that same person is also a consumer of video. And so you're able to reach folks who they call you because they think of you. So get in front of them so they'll think of you. And that's really the key here.
Great information. We do have a couple more questions, and I would encourage the people who wrote them to go ahead and email us so we can address you individually. We are out of time. We're sorry we can't continue on and on, but we have to let you know the email address is beastar@askthelawyer.com. So all one word, beastar@askthelawyer.com. Or you can also respond to the email invite that you receive for this webinar to contact us. Again, we are here for a free consultation. If you want to just talk about, hey, what does this look like? How could I implement video? I have this video, what's working, what's not, no cost to you. Just want you to know that we are here as a resource. As Tom mentioned, that's what's going to pay off in the long run, whether you're a legal business, whether you're a marketing company, whether you're a psychologist. You want to be a resource right now for people who have content questions and want it. They don't want a price tag involved. They just want to know, how can you tell me how your expertise can help my business? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. How we can help you and how you can help your own customers and future consumers. So with all that, again, beastar@askthelawyer.com. Contact us there. Any questions, we're happy to help. And we're so grateful that you joined us for this webinar. On behalf of the entire Ask the Lawyers team, have a great day and watch out for your email, because we'll have more of these as we continue forward. Thanks for joining us.